Hello, everyone, and welcome in to the stream here. We are live on a Monday afternoon. Rashee Rice, it's confirmed he's not playing again this season. We don't love to see it, and in fact, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if we don't see Rashee Rice next season either. I would love to find news that Amari Cooper has been traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, although maybe not the best for us in the end. Not that we were all big Amari Cooper drafters. But here on Monday, we're going to take a look at some of the advanced data from week 3, week 4. Wow, isn't that insane? We just got done with week 4. We're going to take a little look at the week ahead. And in general, we're just going to sort of commiserate with one another. And look, I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not a very happy morning. I'm sitting here and I am looking at my exposures. They really do not feel that good. I'm looking at my top exposures, and we have out for the season. A lot of Kyle Pitts. Man, does that Kyle Pitts exposure feel? Not really sure anything could feel worse than buying in on Kyle Pitts yet again. I think a potentially interesting place to start is there anything in the Kansas City Chiefs offense? Is there anything in the Kansas City Chiefs offense that makes us feel all right? And I think the answer is, honestly, it's hard for me to say. I think the answer is probably no. I don't think there's anything that exists on the roster right now that is going to make us feel that good. Man. Oh, Jeremy was commenting up to his Rashee Rice exposure. Well, yeah, National Day of Mourning. Tough scene. Let's log in and look at some of the advanced data on the fantasy points data suite for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm gonna guess it's not very good. It does only take one with Chase Brown, Worthy, and Wicks on it. Let's see. I gotta have at least one of those, right? Let's check over on the Best Ball Mania database. It is updated for this morning. Let's go. Davis, Mattek, Wicks, Chase Brown, and Worthy. Got to have at least one, right? Oh, 4. And how? I mean, isn't that so perfect? A literal 12th place team. A 12th place team advancing none of those teams with Dontavian Wicks, Chase Brown, and Xavier Worthy. Let's check this team. All right, Jordan Love and Matt Stafford. Oh, it's a McCaffrey team. Of course it is. Mostert, so double zeros. Did get some points from Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, and Braylon Allen this week. Got a touchdown out of DJ Moore. Hollywood Brown is dead. Christian Watson is dead. Wicks is alive. Kendrick Bourne is dead. Brennan Rice is dead. George Kittle coming back. Maybe a 12th place team. Maybe a 12th place team that could rise from the dead. This is a good question. It's a good question. How many Mahomes and Kelsey teams do I have in Best Ball Mania? Got 7. None of them are advancing. What about Mahomes and Worthy? Got 13, and none of them are advancing. Although some of them look to be kind of within striking distance. Not this team. Let's see how bad this team is. 12th place. We've got Mahomes, Purdy, not bad. Walker, Mostert, pretty dead. Gallagher, Chandler, Vidal, pretty dead. Okay, just dead. So, way too many heroes. I don't know what's the best way. What's the best way to here? Mahomes, Worthy, Rashee Rice, Pacheco, Hollywood. I know I got a Tony team in there somewhere. Clyde, Steele, Pirine. Is there anyone else? No, it's not my mic battery. I don't have a mic battery. Would there be anyone else? 46 teams with no Chiefs. 46 teams with no Chiefs. If I'm doing, oh, Kelsey, sure. 41 teams with no Chiefs. 41 teams with no Chiefs. Guillaume, how we doing, everyone? I shouldn't have any Justin Watson teams. No Justin Watson teams. There you go. So let's see this one. Jordan Love, Joe Burrow, alive. A-Chain, Cook, Dowdle, Ray Davis, Gibson, relatively alive. Chase, Olave, Reed, Watson, dead. Coleman, kind of dead. Mooney, alive. Yoshi Voss, alive. Corley, dead. Tucker, alive. Goddard, and Musgrave. I bet I drafted that one. That feels like a Herzig team. That feels like a Herzig team for sure. Were any of these even close? Let's check this one. Random one, August 29th. Kyler Murray, Will Levis. It's fucking Will Levis, dude. What's the point? The rugby guy did not have, the rugby guy was not on Underdog. He was only on DraftKings. Okay. Check some of this Chiefs advanced data. Actually, no, let's check the, we'll sort by ADOT. Worthy, 28%. Air yard share. Watson, 11%. Noah Gray is the one I'm pretty interested in. So he only has a 30% route share. Man, I wonder if that goes up quite a bit. Because look how low the route shares are for these other players. Really low for Wiley. Is this including week 4 data? I assume it is because Kelsey looks a little bit better. Yeah, it's almost has to be including week 4. Oh, that's a good question. Run your check for Mahomes and Amari Cooper. No teams found. No teams found. How many Juju teams? Gotta be none. God, I really hope it's none. No Juju Smith-Schuster teams found. As it should be. Let's check the separation data here. Wide receiver separation by alignment for the Kansas City Chiefs. Overall separation score. Hey! 9 routes. 9. Look at that separation score for Sky Moore. Noah Gray, negative. Hardman, negative. Smith-Schuster, nothing. So brutal. Look, I would love to move on to 2025 so we can draft Ashton Jean T. Man, let's just see if any of these 4th place teams, any of these teams that are behind, let's see if they have any life. Anthony Richardson, so probably dead. Kyler Murray. Jonathan Brooks. Wow. Brian Robinson Jr. Man, it feels like Brian Robinson Jr. has got to be one of the highest advance rate players right now. Yeah, look at that. 21.9%. 21.9% advance rate for Brian Robinson Jr. What are some of your late round wide receivers that have produced? Probably none. Right? Wicks has produced. Burton has not produced. Although I think he could. He only ran 2 routes. He only ran 2 routes, which is not great. Adunze, nothing. Dortch is like whatever. He just can't score touchdowns. Jalen McMillan scores touchdowns, but he was out last week. Keon Coleman is a 0. Luke McCaffrey, I would say I feel better about moving forward. Polk, Lockett. JSN, man, I do wish I had more than 12% of JSN. Check my Jaden Daniels teams. I don't think I have that many because I was such a fucking Caleb slappy. Yeah. 10 teams. 10 teams. And I bet I have like 25 Caleb. No, only 18. And none advancing. Look at all those last place ass Caleb Williams teams. Those teams, they're completely dead. Maybe one of these random 8th place. No, all right, you open it up and then you immediately see Hollywood Brown. It's just stuff you hate to see. Leggett, I really like. Leggett was, I thought, one of the more, and I'm not advancing very many of those yet, but I do really like Xavier Leggett. Caleb can get better. Caleb definitely can get better, but I'm honestly wondering if it's already too late for some of those teams. Let's check. Do we have any good advanced stuff on Caleb Williams? I'm gonna guess. No, I think the opposite is true. I think you look at Jaden Daniels and I think you have to say the talent is very much overcoming coaching, because I don't believe right now that there's a whole new world, that Cliff Kingsbury has reinvented himself. So Caleb is not scrambling very much. He's negative CPOE with an 8.58 out, which is not particularly low. 17% of his throws are deep throws. He's getting a lot of yak. 52% yak. I mean, that's got to be really high. How do I do minimums? So that is, well, I guess it's not that much. It's similar to Daniels and to Herbert. No, he's out. He's out for the year, bro. He's not playing. Joe Flacco is insanely bullish for the Colts pass catchers. Insanely. I mean, Joe Flacco, if you look at what he did with the Browns pass catchers last year, like Joe Flacco sent those dudes to the absolute moon. So Joe Flacco comes in last year, comes in this first game against the Rams. Immediately Harrison Bryant, Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper doesn't get there in that game. But then he starts going nuclear in this next game against the Jaguars. Njoku smashes 2 touchdowns, 7 for 77 for Cooper. Elijah Moore even gets in the fun. David Bell catches a touchdown. Jerome Ford catches 5 out of the backfield. He threw for 300 yards again in this Bears game. Super Amari game, 10 for 104 and 1 for Njoku. It's unbelievable. Downs, Pittman, yes. Pittman, Downs, even Mitchell. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I think the talent does overcome the 2 high safeties though. I mean look at the best quarterbacks are the quarterbacks that you would imagine. Like, look at these guys who are really high in PRO. I need to set the minimum. There's got to be a filter. How do I set a minimum? By the way, the underdog notifications are the underdog notifications are driving me insane right now. I was doing some battle royales earlier, and I'm getting the notifications from them right now, which is miserable. Let's sort by CPOE. So we've got Geno, number 1 of quarterback who's playing for real. Daniels, number 2. Purdy, number 3. Carr, number 4. Burrow, number 5. So that's about what you'd expect. I assume this is it. I assume that underdog is affected by the Verizon outage for some degree. Yeah, I'm not very high on this. I think Worthy is definitely going to play better. See, this kind of stuff is really annoying to me because I'm 100% positive that Bingo Bongo has drafted Tyreek Hill and these other guys. It's like, sure. I mean, I don't have any way to answer this. What point do you think the points back cut off and you should give up hope? I'm not gonna lie, guys. My hope is pretty low. My hope is pretty low. Like Rashee Rice was the best pick I made, and he's at 0 now. Like all these teams, these are gonna go to 0. This team that's 69 points ahead of everyone else, this team is dead. It's not gonna win. It's got Drake May on it. It's not gonna get there. Yes. So this was super bullish. This was super bullish. I thought I had the same note. The crossing route by Worthy to seal the game would be super bullish if we see more of that versus gadget plays and fly routes. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I did. I wanted to touch on this. Are you tilt drafting 8% of everyone next year? So I think this is a pretty important lesson to learn. Just because something went against you this year does not mean that you did the wrong thing. I don't think that anyone would say, in fact, after watching the games for the first month and seeing the results, you would have traded. You probably would have said, I'd like to have 100% of Rashee Rice. I would like to have Rashee Rice on 100% of my teams. It's just one slate. Think about an NFL DFS weekend. Like, I had all the right combos. This most recent weekend, I was all over Jaden Daniels. I was all over Jordan Mason. I was all over Taysom Hill. All of those things. And if you think about that, you realize like it's just one slate. I was right, but I'm not going to get paid off. And there's been plenty of slates in my life where I've been wrong and learned something. There's been plenty of slates where I've been right and learned something. And I think, looking at my exposures, to be honest, I don't really feel like I played poorly. Like, I think there's some things I would have done differently. But like looking at my top exposures, Worthy would not do anything different. Jalen Warren, I would not do anything different. Chase Brown, I wouldn't do anything different. Hollywood Brown feels like the most obvious one where I was right. I mean, Hollywood Brown, I think the evidence that we've seen from the Chiefs offense was their plan was to give Hollywood Brown the ball a ton. Like their plan was for him to be super, super involved in the offense. Like these Justin Watson snaps. I think the reasons that I think a big reason why the Chiefs offense does not look so good is the lack of Hollywood Brown. So I don't feel bad about that one. So the deal with Quorum, based on what I understand the situation to be, these underdog notifications are literally, I got to put my phone on do not disturb. I'm going to lose my mind. Quorum is just a handcuff now. Blake Quorum is really not that dissimilar from rookie year Kyren Williams. So let's go back and look at the 2022 Rams to do some pattern matching here. So the 2022 Los Angeles Rams, they open up the remember this loss to the Buffalo Bills. So they have this loss to the Buffalo Bills. Kyren Williams gets injured on the opening kickoff. Probably the best way to look at this is snap counts. So let's look at the snap counts for the Rams running backs. 82% of the snaps for Cam Akers or for Darrell Henderson. 18% for Cam Akers. One special team snap and an injury for Kyren Williams. Jake Funk plays on the special team. So Kyren gets injured. Next game, for the Los Angeles Rams against the Falcons. Let's go look at these snap counts. We've got 56% for Akers. Funk gets in. Henderson, Akers. And then at what point in here, because Henderson gets cut in the middle of this. So now we have the 50-50 split between Henderson and Akers, right? And I want to say this game after the 49ers is the game where Henderson gets cut. So Henderson, Akers, remember Malcolm Brown? You guys remember Malcolm Brown? So Corum was not always a handcuff. There definitely was the idea that Blake Corum was going to be a complementary piece. It was going to kind of be, remember, you know how Zach Charbonnet was used last year, where Charbonnet wasn't the lead guy by any stretch of the imagination, but he was always going to get some work, and he just isn't. Now this is going to drive me crazy. I need to remember. I got to find the game where Henderson gets cut. Or did Henderson get cut last year? Am I tripping? No? Okay, I'm wrong. He never did get cut. So basically, this situation ended up being a nightmare. I guess I kind of misremembered this situation. This situation was just brutal all year long. The Rams are just losing. The backfield is a stone split. Henderson is basically, Akers goes to zero here. Akers goes to zero here. I don't even know if Nico Remigio is on the roster right now. That's a good question. Let's see, is Nico Remigio? So right now the Chiefs wide receiver room is Watson, Worthy, Juju, Sky, and McCole. McCole has barely played on offense. They've got Jody Fortson, who's a tight end on the practice squad. They have Montrell Washington, Justin Ross, and Nico Remigio. I think Justin Ross is going to get a chance before. Yeah, this was always the hope. Was that Blake Corum would play 25% of the snaps, and Kyren is, I think, injury prone. Yeah, I think that is the legitimate hope. I don't know, what else would I have done differently? DJ Moore, would I do anything differently with DJ Moore? No, I definitely feel pretty strong about that. If anything, I wish I had more Dontavian Wicks. Dowdle, you could definitely argue that Dowdle was a bit of a miss because Dowdle is just really not a good player. You know, he does not project well in any advanced stat anything, you know. And Hunter Lupke is playing all of these snaps. Let's see how our boy Rico Dowdle. Let's see, is he on the fastest ball carriers? No, he's not. Let's check the advanced rushing stats and see our boy Rico Dowdle. Can I sort by? I wonder if he's negative rushing yards over expected. Rico Dowdle. So Rico Dowdle, negative 26 rushing yards over expectation. Spends about an average amount of time behind the line of scrimmage. He's faced a lot of 8-man boxes, 20% 8-man boxes. That's pretty up there. Yeah, that's a similar number to David Montgomery or Travis Etienne, so that's a pretty high number. But not particularly, yeah, negative. The negative rushing yards over expected is not great. Yeah, A-Chain is really bad. A-Chain is really bad in this stuff. I don't really have an explanatory variable for it, but you know who leads the NFL in rushing yards over expectation per attempt? A percentage of his yards is rushing yards over expectation. Our boy, Chase Brown. Yeah, I definitely, it's not. It's not. Leone was actually just talking about this on Twitter, that rushing yards over expectation is effectively just the same as yards per carry. Yeah, Dowdle. It's not like I don't feel bad about taking Rico Dowdle in any way, shape, or form. I think doing Dowdle stuff was fine, but you know, it's not. It's definitely not ideal. Yeah, the Dolphins O-line is not great. Braylon Allen, can't feel bad about that. I feel really good about that. Jermaine Burton, I mean, Jermaine Burton. Do I feel bad or good about Jermaine Burton? I guess Yoshi Voss scoring all these touchdowns shows the upside, but Jermaine Burton is such a dick. So this is interesting. I'm wondering how this is a defendable take when Chuba Hubbard's stat lines in his games with Bryce Young were 6.4 plus 4 was less than 10 underdog points and 1.4 underdog points. I can't tell. Do you really believe that this is serious? You believe that Rashee Rice is returning this season? I can't tell. Feels. Do you guys know about the ACL field test? I guess maybe you guys don't know about the Lachman test. It's basically like 99% effective. Yeah. Basically, you can tell immediately when someone it's 98%. So let me see if I can get an actual. There were 11 studies that met the inclusion criteria and described a total of 14 on-field tests for patients after an ACL tear. All right, we're getting really deep into this. The clinical Lachman test from the university. There you go. Yeah, Kamara does have a broken rib, but it's the type of thing you can play with. It's the type of thing you can play with. What? Who said that? I think maybe you're confused, sir. I think maybe you're on the wrong. I think maybe you're on the wrong video. Yeah. So this is sort of interesting. Do you think Jonathan Brooks comes back and takes over the backfield from Chuba? I think we're definitely headed to. I think we're definitely headed to. Yeah, probably. I think in like weeks 7 and 8, we are going to see a split. I think Brooks is going to get a lot of the. Do you guys remember when? This is always the backfield I comp to. You guys remember when LaDainian Tomlinson and Sean Green played together, where all the good touches would go to LaDainian Tomlinson on the Jets, and all the shitty inside stuff would go to Green. That's kind of what I imagine. I definitely did not. I think you're very confused, man. I think you might need some help. No, I mean Rashee Rice is always going to be the number one. And I really wish I did have more than 21%, which is so funny to say after he got injured. But yeah, I think the evidence would suggest that the move was just to take all the Rashee Rice, right? I don't know. Who else do I feel bad about here? Adunze? I don't know. Yes. So much like this. Yeah. Asiata and McKinnon. Asiata got all the high value touches. You know, I think it's going to be like that. But I think Brooks will get the high value touches, and Hubbard is going to get a lot of the grinding work. Jefferson, obviously, you have to feel great about that. Dortch, does Greg Dortch matter? Does Greg Dortch matter? Like, he's playing a lot, he's getting a lot of targets, but does he matter? He's got 70% of the routes. He's got a 7 ADOT, 14% air yard share, 18% target share. I mean, 18% target share, 0.22 targets per route run, is pretty good for a 15th round pick or whatever. But like, how can this guy score touchdowns? He really, it's exactly what it is. It's just a very low floor. What do you? I think you might need to take a timeout, bro. I think you might need to take a timeout because I don't think you understand what we're doing here. Dude, Matt Asiata, people forget Matt Asiata. He was you guys remember Matt Asiata, bro? Matt Asiata was a very fun. Well, he wasn't really that fun, but he had some fun results. He had you ever seen a guy with three touchdown games and no career? Oh, he did have a 100-yard game. Wow. He did. Man. Why did he ever have kick returns? That's so funny. Yeah. This game right here, this 41-28 game, Matt Asiata, I late swapped to Matt Asiata in cash in this game. I'll never forget it. I was on a school trip, like a college trip for one of my classes, and I late swapped to him in this game. And Julio Jones, 6 for 82. Wow, Jerry's right. Remember him? Remember Jerry's right? Hey, look, man. Here's the deal, dude. We are all having a tough time. It's a really tough time out here. We are all looking at our fantasy teams, and we're like, God damn, why did I draft all these dudes who suck? Why did I draft all these dudes who are hurt? I get it. And sometimes people just need to take a timeout. It is what it is. Matt Asiata is the LeGarrette Blount of Jerome Bettis's, and that is indisputable. Oh, I just realized I forgot to turn the comments on to subscribers only. That's what I get. All right. Let's keep going. Drake May. Do I feel bad about Drake May? Do I feel bad about 15% Drake May? 17% Drake May? I really don't. To be honest, I don't. The thesis was there. The results have been awful for the Patriots. It is, yeah. Tough scene. I absolutely do not blame Karain. I am my own man. I'm my own man. Cooper Kupp, I mean, I feel very smart. I feel incredible. It's like, dude, Cooper Kupp is awesome. Cooper Kupp was looking like one of the better picks on the board, and he just happened to hurt his ankle. I don't want to relitigate the entire Pat Karain, Sam Sherman yelling match, which is so funny because I was the only one who was a big Cooper Kupp bull. But it just like, I can't control for that. I can't control for Cooper Kupp getting a high ankle sprain. What I can control for is that when Cooper Kupp is on the field, he is going to earn a ton of targets, which is exactly what he did. Gibson, now that's an interesting one because he really has not played very much. But Ramondre Stevenson keeps fumbling. He's gotten some receiving work. Obviously, 7 receptions. It's not what you want. He kind of had that one good run against the Seahawks. This was the only time that the team looked any frisky. Was my average pick on Cup? I mean, it was pretty high. Well, not bad at 27. Yeah, I have less of him. I have less of him on DraftKings, but not really because I even thought he was a good pick or a bad pick. It just was just kind of the way it worked out. Yeah, Ramondre just cannot stop fumbling. Benson Corn. Well, Jalen Wright, I think, is pretty dead because it seems like he's behind Jeff Wilson Jr., which I did not anticipate. But Benson and Corum, you mostly were drafting those guys. Corum got too expensive for sure. But you're mostly drafting these guys for the starter to get injured. And if the starter gets injured, they're going to be really good. Bowers, it's kind of interesting. Everyone 2 weeks ago was like, oh my God, Brock Bowers is the greatest player in the history of fantasy football. I want to have all Bowers. And now he is a 15% air yard share, 5.58 OT, 0.24 targets per route run. Does have a lot of yak. Does have a 16% first read share, which is very good. But people are not being so breathless around him. Benson is behind DeMarcado for now. But DeMarcado is the type of player, I mean, he's just, he's nothing special. He's nothing special. I will do my rest of season rankings on Wednesday. And I'll still probably have Bowers 1, but it'll be pretty close. Kelsey is definitely moving up my rest of season rankings. Yes, Amari DeMarcado is just a known jag. Bowers being the guy to chip Garrett with Harrison Bryant. Yeah, it was a choice. It was a choice. Favorite tight end this year is whoever scored double-digit points the week before. I mean, look, Ball. 42 entries on DK, currently advancing 1. Yeah, dude, it's just not a very good year to be a I don't know. It's like, honestly, I think back on it and I'm like, what would I have done differently with the information I have now? I'm still not really drafting Derrick Henry. Barkley to 2-3 turn, I definitely would. It just becomes one of those things where it's like, maybe this just wasn't the year. Maybe the way that I draft, maybe it wasn't going to happen. And if that is the case, then so be it. Sometimes it doesn't need to be your year. Yeah, we've got people trouting Tom. Yeah, it's not been a very good year to fade dusty RBs. I mean, let's go back and look. I mean, some of the absolute biggest dust balls. What is Jerome Ford's advance rate right now? Jerome Ford. God, I can't type. Jerome Ford with an above average advance rate. What is Kamara's advance rate? Alvin Kamara's advance rate, 52%. What is Barkley's advance rate? 39%. What is Barkley and Kamara together? 83. So nothing else. If you know nothing else, 83% if you have Barkley and Kamara. It's pretty intense, man. That's a pretty high advance rate. Yeah, and I think ultimately, I still would have drafted a lot of wide receiver starts. I mean, yeah, diversification does help in the years when it wasn't meant to be, but think about if you were diversifying off Rashee Rice. Okay. you diversify off Rashee Rice, he doesn't tear his ACL, and you're like, wow, I was so right. I was 100%. I was 100% right about this, and I'm not going to get paid. Yeah, this is a good question. Henry, Barkley, Kamara. God, does that even exist? 98%. 98% advance rate. How bad does a team have to be? Oh, you can't even scroll that far down. Some of these teams are 170 points ahead in their pods. Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Barkley, Henry, Kamara, Javonte. And see, this is so funny. These teams always are terrible. You click on these teams, and they always have the dustiest players. They always have Javonte. They always have Quentin Johnston. They always have Devontae Walker. They always have the dustiest stuff. Yeah, JJ Nico. I mean, that can't be a very common pairing. It is incredibly hard to keep that perspective. It's incredibly hard to keep the perspective that it's just one big slate. Oh yeah, you gotta check Pittman. That's true. But now Pittman might be saved, bro. Pittman. I would have taken him some. Henry, Pittman. 8 out of 8. 100% advance rate. See how many, see if I've got any Justin Jefferson and Nico's. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, user, Davis Mattek. Wow, and they're not advancing. A 9th place. Jesus fucking Christ. Stroud and Nico with Dell in the 3rd round. All right. James Cook, Chase Brown, Rico Dowdle, Blake Corum, Kamani Vidal, Carson Steele. So just straight zeros. Shitty picking Trey McBride. Shitty picking Schultz. Shitty picking Malik Washington. Shitty picking Luke McCaffrey. Shitty picking DeMario Douglas. Shitty picking Keenan Allen. You think those are bad running backs, dude? You think those are, but you've seen my running back rooms, and you think those are bad, bro? It can get worse. It can get worse. Jefferson and Reid. The thing is, I don't have a ton of Reid. Yeah, I did not take a ton of Reid, man. In fact, I think I'm below. Yeah. Yeah, look, I only have 14 Reid teams, and they're all advancing, of course. Probably not. Probably I wouldn't. It's hard, like, I don't know. Like, these teams, the thing is, I mean, these teams, God, Jesus Christ, 6.7%. Just fucking shoot me. Let's see. Last week I said the team that was in first place. I don't think so. I don't think I did. Let's see if I would buy this team in first place for $100. Dak and CeeDee, Baker and Mike Evans, James Cook, Alvin Kamara, Chase Brown, Ezekiel Elliott, Bucky Irving, Neighbors, Dell, Godwin, Mooney, Hyatt, Juwan Jennings, of course, Brock Bowers, Dallas Goedert, and Shake. You know what? I'm putting it out there. I think I'd buy that for $100. I think I'd buy that one for $100. What do I think about Devontae Adams to the Chiefs? You know, I would like to see it, but it feels pretty unlikely because his contract is so big this year. I don't know how they would make I don't know how they'd make the money work. Well, the A-chain advance rate is going to be low right now because he hasn't played yet. He doesn't have a score for this week, but it is going to be kind of low. The A-chain advance rate with a 0 for this week is 14%. All 4 of my JJ Jaden Reed teams are advancing. Well, shout out to you. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought Devontae Adams not being out with his hamstring injury means he's got to be on the move. James's highest scoring team is in 112th overall with DK and Pollard left to go. All right. Shout out to you, brother. What's the highest scoring team with Rashee Rice? Oh, the team in 3rd, bro. Look at all these top 10 teams, of course, all these top 10 teams. Checking my good teams and seeing Rice on them. Yeah. Oh, the Mark Andrews advance rate. That's pretty good. What is the Mark Andrews advance rate? See, that's pretty funny. It's 14%. And you know why it's 14%? Because good drafters were taking Mark Andrews. People who know ball. Like, let's just click a random team. Lamar and Andrews, Carr and unstacked Carr and Kamara, Edwards. So this is just a 0 RB team with like dusty ass running backs, but he has Justice Hill with Lamar. He took Jordan Mason. He took Justin Jefferson at 104. Adams, Devonta, Deontay Johnson, Brian Thomas, Cortland Sutton, Rashad Bateman. That's a good team. Also, yes, tight end doesn't matter. Every tight end sucks. Tight end doesn't matter. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's a good question. What is the Njoku advance rate? Well, he was cheaper. Yeah, similar, but he was cheaper. It's a good question. Andrews and Likely. It can't be that common. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. 3,871 teams, 24% advance rate. What happens if you add Lamar in there? 26%. Interesting. What is the Travis Kelce advance rate? See, and I would expect that to go up. But non-rostered players is going to go down. Oh, not by much. Not by much. Probably not. Probably not. I don't see any way. Thinking about that. I mean, he becomes like Blake Corum. He just becomes a pure handcuff. Wicks advance rate. It's not gonna be that high. I don't think. Yeah, 22%. 22% is probably about the max it can get to. God. Advancing one Wicks team. Although these are close, right? These are live. I mean, this one's 12 points behind. This one's 16 points behind. 23 points behind. Jordan Love, Matt Stafford, Jonathan Taylor, dead. Why did I take Jonathan Taylor? James Cook, Chase Brown, Sharbs, Braylon Allen, Estime, Puka, dead. Puka, man. It could definitely happen, right? I mean, the tight end scoring is so low. 2024 fantasy points. It's so low. Nico advance rate's got to be like giga high. Nico Collins. 28%. What about for Davis Mattek? God, I have 19 Nico. Oh, there you go. So my Nico teams are the ones that are good. Sam Darnold advance rate. Sam Darnold advance rate's got to be good. Yeah, 30%. A lot of Jefferson teams there. So right now, in half PPR scoring. Dallas Goedert has 42 points. Kittle missed a game and has 35.5. They're in half point PPR, 5 guys have more than 30 points, and 2 guys have more than 10 points per game. Can you see how many Nico Neighbors combinations there are? Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors. 2,378 with a 43% advance rate. Jacobs or Montgomery rest of season? I will go Josh Jacobs, just barely. Wow. Maybe the guy who said that I was doing clickbait was right. I'm about to pull up this Andy Reid quote. I think he's lying. But by Nate Taylor. Just tweeted. In his opening statement, Andy Reid said the Chiefs are still going through several tests of Rashee Rice's right knee. I don't have a definite diagnosis right now. He's not going to be available next week. I'm just reporting it, man. I'm just reporting it. The guy in chat earlier said I was doing clickbait, bro. Bijan advance rate's going to be low, right? Bijan advance rate. Yeah, 13%. So if you had a really high-scoring Bijan team, that'd be lit. Yeah, I think that's for the best, man. I think that's for the best. I think refusing to hope. The hope is what kills you. The hope is what kills you. And the Bijan stuff. Check the advanced rushing for Bijan. Because it can't be that good. Bijan Robinson. .6 explosive runs. 56 rushing yards per game. 47% stuff rate. That feels bad. Pretty low missed tackles forced per attempt. Pretty good yards after contact. Not great. Oh, Nico for sure. Nico for sure. Well, you know ball, dude. Justin Jefferson, best player on offense in the NFL. Oh, what is the Pitt? Well, no, the Pitt's advance rate's not going to be as bad as you think, dude. It's not going to be as bad as you think because of the way tight ends work. Yeah, well, 10% is pretty fucking bad. Yeah, the called back touchdown was sick. I mean, he obviously, like, very unlike Kyle Pitts, I'll keep making excuses for Bijan Robinson because he looks incredible. He looks really, really good. Yeah, Pitts is probably on a big number of Bijan teams. 4 weeks in. Dude, I kind of forget what the matchups are. Of course they are. Of course they are. You think I wouldn't be doing the expert survey, brother? Go on over and check rotogrinders.com. And you can get all of my expert survey picks for the 2 gamers. You can learn a little ball. If you want to sign up for rotogrinders.com, there's a link to do so in the purchase of this in the description of this podcast, of this YouTube. Oh, it will be live in like 5 minutes then. You guys know about McWeapon? You guys might not know about Jeremy McWeapon with his 7th year breakout. You guys are about to learn about Jeremy McWeapon. Jeremy McNichols at Boise State. 3,200 rushing yards, 44 rushing touchdowns. But that's not all. 1,000 receiving yards, 11 receiving touchdowns. He had 50% of his team's offense his final year. Over 2,000 scrimmage yards, 27 touchdowns. He was sick. He was Gene T before Gene T, dude. Zero percent rostered. Yeah, probably people were too busy drafting Chris Rodriguez. Me. Yeah, just your typical year 7 breakout, you know. Oh, my last place team? Sure, that's a good bit. Let's look at my last place team. All right, I'm going to put it on the record that this team that is 175 points behind that I drafted on the 19th of May is probably not going to advance. Caleb Williams stacked with DJ Moore. Geno Smith stacked with Lockett. Daniel Jones stacked with Jalen Hyatt. Of course, it's a McCaffrey team. A-Chain, Edwards, Ray Davis, Tyron Tracy, so all zeros. Christian Kirk, basically a zero. Tyler Lockett, Polk, Baker, Hyatt. Basically a team of zeros. Basically just 100% zeros. Tua, 0. Pitts, 0. Rondale Moore, 0. Jalen Polk, 0. Tyler Lockett, 0. Keelan Coleman, 0. Hollywood Brown, 0. Cooper Kupp, 0. Marshawn Lloyd, 0. Trey Benson, 0. Isaiah Pacheco, 0. Incredible. These are incredible teams. Jordan Love and Purdy. McCaffrey, 0. Warren, 0. Herbert, 0. Vidal, 0. Estime, 0. Waddle, 0. Watson, 0. Malik Washington, 0. Jalen Naylor, there you go. Luke Musgrave, 0. A lot of zeros. So that's Trey Tucker. Yeah, Trey Tucker, I bet he has a good advance rate. %. 23%. Nico for sure. Yeah, sometimes you don't need injured guys. Sometimes it's not about injured guys. Sometimes you just want to take bad players. I think, honestly, like, the money's already gone. The money has already been spent. There's nothing I can do now. All I can do is laugh. 10th place team, 56 points behind. Deshaun Watson. Why the fuck not? Why would I do this? Like that, it's like I can't blame anyone but myself. I took Deshaun Watson on a fantasy football team for money. London. Brandon Ayuk has 167 receiving yards on the season. Do you guys know that Brandon Ayuk has 167? Yes. Yeah, Nico is closer to Jefferson. You could make an argument Nico has a better role. Yeah, you could definitely make an argument that Nico is better than CD. I mean, it'll probably be Kupp if he's healthy, right? It'll very likely be Cooper Kupp if he's healthy. Don't you guys think? I guess I'm very pessimistic that Christian McCaffrey comes back and plays. Oh, this is a good bet. Let's look up Kitchen's advance rate. Kitchen is advancing one team. One team. It is a hero RB team with Derrick Henry. He's got 3 quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Justin Fields. This had to have been a swolecast team. Cooper Kupp, dead. Pickens and Fields. Godwin, Ladd, Palmer, Jacoby Myers, Javon Baker, DJ Chark, Elijah Moore, David Njoku, Pat Freiermuth. I don't know. We think that team's going to advance? I have no idea. I really couldn't say. Look, David's worst team is better than mine. More points than mine, I think. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Isaiah Pacheco, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Ty Chandler, Nick Chubb. So he's got no running backs. It's week 4, and he's got no running backs. Tyreek, Brandon Ayuk at the 210, DJ Moore, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett, Jermaine Burton, Zay Jones, Jalen McMillan, Elijah Moore, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers. Paid believes his opinion is only worth 5% or 6% more in the market. I diversify and focus on pricing in each draft room. Yeah, but what does that even do for you? So then you really are just hoping to get one team through. You're saying, I don't really know any better than you guys, but I hope that I just draft the right players on one team. Don't take the lessons from me, man. I thought I knew ball, and I just drafted a bunch of guys who died. Why would A-Chain be dead? A-Chain, they started out this game right here, this game against Seattle. They wanted to get him the ball a ton. Let's go to the play-by-play data. Okay, look at this. So they start the game, first play to A-Chain, right? Gets a rush. Another pass to A-Chain. Wilson gets a rush. They don't get the first down. They come back on the field. A-Chain gets the ball. Waddle gets the ball. A-Chain gets the ball. A-Chain gets the ball. Sack. Sack, fumble. A-Chain gets the ball again. Skylar Thompson bails out. 71-yard DK Metcalf touchdown. They get the ball again. A-Chain gets the ball. They try and pass. They try and pass. They get the ball again. A-Chain gets the ball again. And now they're down. Now it's over. Waddle is the one who's dead. Waddle is the one who's dead. So I actually do think there's a little bit to this. And then we'll do a slip and then we'll get out of here. I think there is a little bit of something to this, which is that the Arizona Cardinals cannot present a threat without being able to run the ball. And then when they're down 10 points, the defense just puts 6 defensive backs on the field and they don't have an answer for it. No, I didn't. I did not. I'm gonna post some stuff in the Discord later. You guys can become members of the Discord by becoming a member of this channel or signing up for patreon.com/takecast. Well, a week ago, Christian Watson hadn't turned his ankle, brother. It is what it is. Mondays are tough. Correct. This is my opinion. I was right in the middle of something. What was I right in the middle of doing? Yes, I would. What was I in the middle of doing? I got distracted. Any hot sports opinions? Yeah, Devin A-Chain. Here, I will, let's do this. Let's build a pick'em slip. Oh, actually what I was doing was I was telling everyone if they wanted to come in the Discord and talk about the 2-game slate, they can become members of the YouTube channel or they can sign up for patreon.com/DavisMattek. All right. Do I have a boost? To use? God, $1,000 max. Let's see if there are any edges over at unabated before I start firing. Oh. Not logged in. All right. DFS Pick'em, Underdog Fantasy, ship it. All right. Tyler Huntley, passing yards. Geno Smith, passing yards. Josh Wiley, receiving yards. I'm going to do A-chain receptions, not rushes. All right, that's enough to get us cooking. I actually do like this angle of just pretending like Tyler Huntley is going to be better than Skylar Thompson. A-chain, higher receiving yards. Tyreek, higher receiving yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba, higher receiving yards, and Geno, higher passing yards. I think that is all corroborated by Derek Carty. Maybe not Tyreek. Just barely. 60.4 next to 53.5. What about A-chain receiving yards? Not corroborated by Carty, but I'm taking it anyway. And Jackson Smith and Jigba receiving yards. Barely corroborated. Wild TD is spicy. That's what I'm saying. This is what I think. And maybe, and like, obviously this is the one, one simple trick Underdog doesn't want you to know, but it does feel pretty easy to scam him up there. All right. Huntley, A-chain, Reek, JSN receiving yards, Geno Smith passing yards. I'm going to fire 25 on this one. Bang. Tyler Huntley, Devin A-chain, Tyreek Hill, JSN, Geno Smith. I'm going to post the link to that there in the chat. Check Miami tight end props. What do we got? Tanner Scott, Jonnu, Durham Smythe, Alec Ingold. Not that appealing. Not that appealing to me. All right. Boys, that is it's because they're correlated. It's because they're correlated. They dock you for the correlation, Rusty. All right, boys, thank you very much for hanging out. Thank you to everyone who came over from ADP chasing. I'm gonna get out of here. Got some more work to do. I will be back tomorrow streaming with Nerdy Tenor and Brian Hooper. We're gonna do our Battle Royale sim stream. We are going to get in those streets. Please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. Love hanging out with you guys. Would like to continue making these videos. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to get a little bit anxious about what's gonna happen when football season is over and how am I gonna make a living. So I'll work on that in the future. Something to ponder. But I appreciate all you guys. Thank you very much for hanging out. And I'll be back tomorrow with Nerdy and with Brian. If you have not yet, go watch the gillcast. It was a pretty good edition of the gillcast.